trailers become their shop away from home. In this particular case, the Sammy Swindell trailer is a 42-foot chaparral, and believe me, it's got everything on board. A full workbench and all sorts of tools, a vise. Inside here, spare parts of all kinds. Even down here, 3 aluminum racing engines for the Sprinter, mounted up there, ready to be put in the car in the event of a problem. Down here, a full rear axle assembly, a pair of front axles in here because they're the ones that often get damaged in this kind of racing. All kinds of shock absorbers, spare parts everywhere, and of course, more tires than you can imagine. In the case of the Outlaws, the secret is don't leave.
Leading them into turn number 1. Yellow number 11, that's Steve Kinzer in second spot. Then Bobby Davis Jr. And battling for fourth spot are the 2 brothers, Jeff and Sammy Swindell.
A great start by Tim Green, who just shot off the pole position and grabbed a good, strong lead in this opening lap from Steve Kinzer. But right behind Kinzer, Bobby Davis Jr. not giving an inch. So the 2 yellow cars, and then the 2 Swindell brothers, Jeff and older brother Sammy, back there charging for 4th place.
So 3 out of the top 4 are from the Memphis area.
They sure are. What a hotbed of sprint car racing. You see them come out of Memphis, out of the Pennsylvania area, out of the Midwest, and out of California. And right now, the California contingent's got themselves a leader. Tim Green, Sacramento, California, out front, the Midwestern champion and the all-time winner here in the World of Outlaws, Steve Kinzer, in second place, lifting a wheel as he comes off turn 2. But boy, Tim Green is just walking the field right now, Steve.
And I got a feeling that Steve Kinzer, number 11, has got that manually operated wing in full tilt downwards for all the traction he can get.
You're right, Steve. You can see this clay here at Devil's Ball getting that kind of black burnish look. That means it's getting almost as hard as asphalt. It's going to become a 1-groove racetrack. Very fast, as Sammy Swindell said, but also very, very difficult to pass on.
Well, you see the smoke now coming off of virtually all the leaders off that right rear tire. So like you say, it's a blue groove track.
It sure is, and it's got everybody just hoping that that right rear rubber that they've got on there does last. But because, boy, it's just like a drag race coming off those corners. Those are 600-plus horsepower engines in these automobiles. They weigh about 1,500 pounds going to the line with the driver on board. So that's a monster power-to-weight ratio.
Good race shaping up for the second position as Bobby Davis Jr. in yellow 18, smoking that rear tire, tries to close up on second place driver Steve Kinzer, also the yellow car.
A good race back there for second place as Tim Green is not really moving out that much farther. In fact, it looks like Steve Kinzer might be nosing in a little bit on the leader.
He is indeed, Brock. He's got him a car length in the last 2 laps.
So Tim Green leads it. Steve Kinzer right back there in second place. Bobby Davis Jr. in third, and a whole bunch of contenders back there behind him as now Tim Green starts to move into the slower traffic and pick up some lap cars.
As the 2A car of Richard Lupo slows Tim Green down a bit, it allows Kinzer to close up. So the lap cars are going to make this very interesting.
They sure are, Steve. It's a 1-groove racetrack, and that means a lot of strategies involved trying to get by the slower fellas like Richard Lupo, who's trying to run his own race. And right now, Steve Kinzer gets underneath Richard Lupo. Right behind him, Bobby Davis gets by, so he's clear. Here are the 2 Swindell brothers. Jeff in the white number 80, champion number 1 car, Sammy Swindell, older brother, trying to get underneath brother Jeff, but not to be done in this lap.
What confidence they have in each other, both to pitch them sideways at the same time, because if one didn't, he'd drive right through the other.
Good race for 4th place between the Swindell brothers. Formation flying by these 2 ace sprint car drivers from the Memphis, Tennessee area as we watch them. Look at that driving as they too move up on Richard Lupo and try to stay within striking distance of leader Tim Green.
Just incredible racing. Is ballet too sissy a word to use to describe this?
Well, they might not agree with you, but boy, it's just beautiful as finally Sammy gets by brother Jeff and moves into the 3rd spot.
And here's the race for the lead. Tim Green in orange number 7. He drives right up on a slower car. That's going to be a big break for Steve Kinzer, who tries to get down low, and Green somehow hangs on to the lead. This man from Sacramento can drive a race car.
He sure can. All kinds of poise as he just threaded his way through those slower automobiles. Didn't hardly lift, didn't miss a beat. Steve Kinzer also ran right through that little gaggle of automobiles to hang right on Tim Green's tail. Beautiful driving. Every time we see one of these World of Outlaws shows, we're just blown away by the driving skill of these front runners.
Brock, we got a car spinning right here. That is 3K Kenny Schrader, and it may bring out the yellow flag.
Well, Kenny just kept his foot in it and kept on going. I doubt that they'll bring it out. They may, but Kenny Schrader sure saved it. A piece of beautiful 360-degree driving to save that automobile.
And all of the leaders managed to get through unscathed. The Schrader gets a big hand for the crowd. Now let's watch again. Look towards the outside of your screen. Here comes Schrader. He's in trouble right now.
Just gets it up in the marbles there and loops the automobile. He got way up high, a little bit out of the groove, but here he's full backwards, so now he just cranks the wheel around and spikes the throttle and doesn't lose the power and keeps right on going. It's possible, as I said, that the starter might not have even seen that incident. It was so quick and cleanly done, but in fact he did, and he said, well, wait a minute, let's gather things up, guys. We're going to throw the yellow and get everybody back into formation.
Well, on any track that had a wall around it, as we look at Kenny Schrader, obviously you'd have had a yellow because you'd had Schrader into the fence.
Right, but here at Devil's Bowl, no fence and no foul, so he's in good shape. Tim Green leads it. Steve Kinzer still in that runner-up spot, looking for a place to get by Tim Green. And here's the opportunity as the green comes out again. Can Kinzer do it?
It is Tim Green, the orange number 7. Looked just like the start originally, didn't it? Look at this battle here for third. Bobby Davis Jr., yellow 18, and Swindell got together, but now finally Davis gets away from him.
But right now, Tim Green has it all his own way. The car's hooked up perfectly. Steve Kinzer just doesn't seem to be able to put a dent on that lead as we watch Bobby Davis Jr. and Sammy Swindell move up on Randy Wolf, a lap car. That's the race for third place, and a terrific one it is. Sammy Swindell just doesn't seem to be able to get up on Bobby Davis, though. He tries him low right now, but can't make it work.
Few forms of motor racing, Brock, demand the hand and foot coordination of sprint car racing. You're turning one way to go another.
You sure are, and you've got 600-plus horsepower that's just trying to walk right out from underneath you, especially on a very slick racetrack like we've got here at Devil's Bowl. But Sammy Swindell just can't get by as we watch Tim Green come down unchallenged down the front straightaway.
Well, the story, as far as the leaders are concerned, it's 7-11. Tim Green in the 7 car, Steve Kinzer in the 11 car, and if you ever played craps, Brock, both those numbers can be winners.
Well, right now, Tim Green's rolling 7s because that orange automobile just can't be beaten. He's out front and opening on Steve Kinzer. And I'll tell you what, as the white flag comes out, you open up on a man like Steve Kinzer on a half-mile dirt track in any kind of an automobile, and you're doing something.
Well, Bobby Davis Jr. and Sammy Swindell are starting to pick up Kinzer. We could get a last lap fight for that second position.
It's possible, Steve, but right now, Tim Green takes the checker. Too late for Bobby Davis Jr. Steve Kinzer comes home second. Davis third, with Sammy Swindell back in the 4th spot.
Well, with the tire smoke coming off those right rears, it looked like one long burnout. I can't believe anybody's got any air left in that right rear. Tim Green wins the main event here today at Devil's Bowl. We'll be back to talk with him right after this.